looks like we are live. And we are live from Arlington, Vermont. I'm Happy Valley Hobbies, and these are hobbies that make me happy. Apparently, we do have a wind advisory, so hopefully that doesn't knock out anything. Well, hello there, Dwight. Thank you for coming in. Although it looks like Wigwag possibly got the cookie. He was here at 6:15, about half an hour ago, but I'm not sure if he's wandering back in. All right, back to comments. Da-da-da-da. Well, I would have to say last week was the first week. There's Wigwag. I would have to say last week was the first week I did a 40-hour work week. It's for those who have not been following along. Ever since pretty much December, I've been working 50 hours a week, mainly because my supervisor had gotten fired, and so I've been training. I've been training and working with somebody, two people. Now my normal work schedule is 6 to 4:30, Monday through Thursday. Without my supervisor is supposed to work 7 to 3:30, Monday through Friday. However, without somebody to take over Friday, guess who wound up being there happened to be there on Fridays. It looked like what had happened is it became a perfect storm because of lack of parts and all that. I'm like, do you really need me? And everyone's looking at it going like, no, we don't really need you, because there was the finishing production lines. There's 3 of them. None of them was going to be there, so nothing new was supposed to come. There was a foam truck that was expected to come in, but it was from a company that we normally get just the blocks. Just get blocks. We don't get toppers. Now, toppers are basically pre-cut sheets of foam that usually comes in bags of either 5 for the stiffer foam or 2 for the memory foam. Memory foam is lighter because there's only 2 instead of 5. However, memory foam is not as solid as the regular foam. So the regular foam is heavier, but you can find where the center of gravity is, throw it over your shoulder, and just walk. Yeah, I can't do that today. Oh, hello there, Trackside Mike. How you doing this evening? The memory foam, it just melts, so you can never find the center of gravity because it's slowly melting on you. And thankfully, it looks like we might be set for memory foam for a while, or memory foam toppers for a while. Probably will still need memory foam, but those come in so I felt extremely odd, because it's like it's been so long that I hadn't had a 3-day weekend, because that's what I normally have. I lost track of time. Yes, it's the Tuna Brothers. Unfortunately, I would have to say tuna cans won't work in HO scale. 648. So, Mike. So we're going to have. Now here's the question: who's going to be the first to actually eat tuna salad? Hello there, rail artists. The question is, who's going to do a stream eating tuna fish salad? But I guess it's enough babbling for what's been up an update for me. So let me switch over cameras. And go from there. All right, now to switch over to switch cameras and all that fun stuff. And now let's move the cutter out of the way because we do not need that. All right, now off screen, I wound up cutting all the ties to length to 10 foot. Standard gauge. Standard gauge is 8 foot, so 6 foot. I'm assuming it's going to be 10 foot. Because it looks right that way. But one of the things we got to do, probably should move this out of the way. I found cups for dyeing the ties. And we'll randomly put ones in there. Let's see which ones are. Put that over there. I might have to do. I'm not sure if Fax Trex would do this, but turn around and politely ask for sort of. I'm not sure how many ties I could ask them, but I'm looking for 10 foot wide ties. All right. It looks like to be the right length. Now these over here for the gauntlet track, I haven't cut them the length, so I'll throw these in there. And we'll actually use up all 500 ties. Now I just got to figure out what to do with all the 6-foot ones. Okay. I should have put the 16-foot ones down first. But oh well. All right. Let's see. Do the least amount of blue-gray. And of course, we'll making sure everything's all nice and coated. Especially the ones that like to stick out. Now you notice that, because these are real wood, some of these are soaking in great one way and not so great the other. All right, that there. Onto driftwood. Again, of course, driftwood is close to the original color of the wood, so it's not going to look that obvious that it's been soaked, which is okay. Now, the thing is that, yes, I'm doing this on wood, but I'm not worried about the wood getting stained because it will be all covered up in scenery. So it doesn't matter if I accidentally stain the wood underneath. There's some 16-foot ones that don't want to get stained. Now, I just happened to realize that I forgot one important detail. Not exactly what I was thinking of, but I guess we'll go that direction. And last but not least, creosote black. Basically, these are what I'm doing is tie brown, driftwood, and blue-gray. And now for the adventurous part of putting everything back into the bottle. Now, technically, you can turn around and use a funnel. I do not have a funnel this small, so one of the things you could do is get like a, you don't have to use a screwdriver, but anything that's has a long and pointy thing on it, and then have it pointed towards the center, and then slowly pour it in. And what the liquid does is it follows everything all the way down. Just go slow and steady. And that's it. Now, if you want a pure one of the things that I decided early on is that I didn't need them to be absolutely pure. Yeah, I don't actually come to think of it. Do I have a shaker bottle of that size? I don't think I have. I don't think I ever bought the shaker bottles from Woodland Scenic. Wrong bottle. I do know the shaker bottles you were talking about. If you're not careful, it does spill. And I said before, I'm not worried about the wood underneath, because it will eventually be covered in scenery. So I would have to say I like Woodland Scenics, but they're also very expensive. I probably would lean to use Woodland Scenics like on like in the front area. That was a lot of driftwood that didn't make it back in. Let's see. Use one of these as a coaster so it doesn't get onto the mat. I want the tie brown. Let's see, we spread this a little bit so it dries quicker. Now, this being alcohol based, it will dry relatively quickly, and there are fumes. Actually, the places I think that hadn't puddled up are dried already, soaked into the wood. and or paper. All right, let's try this now. All right. Like a small hair filled in there. Ooh. This one didn't quite get as covered as I thought. And again, I missed again. This is a much darker color, so this is probably going to leave more of a stain on there. And also to let you know that I believe it also stains your skin. But not by much. Since I left just as large puddle for this one as I did the last one. And leave the paper towels for the other drying out the ties. I'll use 3x5 cards to clean up the large mess. Alright, let that dry off. Since it's up in the air, it should dry relatively quick. Let's try this way. Well, that even curls up even more. Interestingly, it doesn't look like it goes through the card. All right. That's interesting. I got the first one down pat. Let's see if I can get it done right this time. All right, let's try this again. Yeah, this one seems to be going a lot better. There we go. Yeah, the first and the last one went perfectly. 2 in the middle did not. Oh well. So now let's put the napkins, these napkins down. Actually, that's almost dry by now. All right, let's pick out these, let them dry. Spread them out so they're a lot easier to dry. They do not dry very well when they're on top of each other. I mean, they will, because it's alcohol, they will dry, but they dry faster when they're not together. Now, when they do dry together, they don't. I don't remember if they stick together. I don't think they do. But, no. Let some of them stay together and all that. See what happens. Okay, on to the next one. But, yeah, I can show you what the. Yeah, these are still wet, so they are slightly darker than they would be. But, well, as you can see, it does stain your skin. But as you can see, these are darker. But as they dry, they will get lighter. But they will get lighter, but they will never get to the light the lightness as they used to be. All right. Now, a thing that I try to do is I try to put what I used pretty much next to the cups that I use, next to the bottles that they came from. Now, will that make things nicer and all that? I don't know. As you can see here, let's put these on 3x5 cards. Now that the majority of it's been soaked up by the towel, which probably has sucked it through into the wood. Again, I'm not worried about not really worried about the wood underneath because, as I said, it'll be covered in scenery. So it would not matter. Yeah, as you can see, it did go through a little bit. So, first, the real question is how does everyone deal with daylight savings time? Personally, the way I look at it is this day and age of 24/7, 365, it's no longer useful. I mean, where I currently work at, except for the office, my particular area is the only one that is blessed with outside windows. And that's because, well, I work in shipping and receiving, and there's a dock. And, well, the windows are small enough that comparatively to the rest of the dock, don't really notice, it's only slightly noticeable that, especially in the morning, because we're on the west side, so we don't really get a lot of light until pretty much afternoon. And last but not least, the last pile. Now these ones on this side actually, the first ones are almost feels like pretty much dry. As you can tell by the napkins, it's like this one doesn't have that much on there. This has more. That one has more, and then the other one is practically soaked. So, all right. Well, actually, that took a lot longer than I expected. After these dry, I'll put them back into the paper cups and all that, and more randomize them. I'll grab an extra cup just for the long ones. All right. Actually, since these are dry enough, I'll start grabbing the long ones for the gauntlet track. All right. Those look. And when they're stuck together, they don't dry as quickly. But they do eventually dry. All right, those are that way. This is just as exciting as watching glue dry. Well, of course, the way I'm thinking is that if I don't get all the long ones out, I'll just fish them out later. And this is a very not really exciting stream tonight. But you'll have that. This is the thing is with live streams, you don't sometimes have the luxury of, editing out the slow parts. All right. So, all right, those two colors are done. And yeah, this one that was soaked is pretty much dry already. It's still slightly damp, but it's pretty much dry. And next week is obviously going to be the start of laying actual track, or at least the ties anyway. Now, I still haven't quite figured out how to re-gauge the locomotives. So one of the things I'm going to see about doing is finding someone who's, has scratch built their locomotives and say, hey, how do you do it? And actually, I'll be aiming for someone actually in S scale. Mainly because this is what I'm doing. 6 foot gauge HO scale is 1 millimeter narrower in gauge than S scale. So that's my thought process on that. All right, now last set of colors. All right. Now, the reason for the small gauntlet track is just out of curiosity if I can do this as a, along with the other dioramas that I have, possibly use it as a Golden Spike award thingy. I mean, my regular layout that I have, which you just barely see over here. Right now, it's all standard gauge, mainly because I wanted to get something up and running. But now I've gotten to a point of going like, let's get something in the broad gauge up and running. Because right now, all I have basically now in HOW6 is, pretty much a test track to making sure that, everything works. And as you can see, I don't even have ties or anything else on it. But this is approximately what the 6-foot gauge would look like. This obviously is, standard Atlas track. I think it's Atlas. But yeah, right now this is the only, except for the dioramas which are not designed to be powered. Everything else is. All right. I just realized I got to make a repair on that. But that's for another day. I do believe that. So we got the long ties here, all the short ties there. Actually, let's do this. Let's take the bag that the ties came in, and this way we'll shake them up really hopefully mix them up to a random consistency. All right, now my homework for this week is to find where I put the cork road bed. I think I know where it is, but another thing is also to figure out where the figure out where the Coke Road bit is, and how I'm going to get the these look randomized now. Those have been thoroughly mixed. Same thing with these. Mix those up. But the thing is, even mixing them up, I'll probably, when I'm picking up the individual ones, still move them around. All right. Well, that took longer than I expected. One of the things I got to figure out is what the S-scale standards are. Since it's so close to being S-gauge, I'm going to see about using excuse me. Using S-scale as the standards as, clearance-wise and stuff like that, except for height, because, well, it's not as tall, but it is just as wide, so it makes sense to go that direction. Yeah, the only weather mix I actually didn't use was Barn Red because, well, I don't think they actually had red ties. So that is that. All right. Ooh, wholesome dessert. Yeah, I was actually thinking about calling it quits early and all that, but now I need to know what the dessert is. Because I get the impression real artists makes good food. Well, that is my impression, is that he makes good food. Oh, hello there, Kyle. Now that I actually look at the chat, relatively quiet night tonight. Yeah, let's switch over to the talking head camera. All right. Well, I think. Well, one, I'm a little bit tired, and two, well, I'm at a stopping point. So I'll call it early tonight. Now, let's see. I'm trying to think now. Who is doing Sidetrack Sunday tonight? The schedule is all screwed up because of taxes, which I actually have to probably double check all my paperwork and all that so I can actually do said taxes. I try to do my taxes in March, mainly because it's not too early and it's also not rushing at the end. So that's what my current plan is. All right. I label it for area coverage. Which the interesting thing is with Woodland Scenics, it's like coverage is, in my opinion, sort of a sort of like one of those things of, it depends on who's doing it. decades ago when I worked for Taco Bell, they turned around and had a thing where they had come up with they came up with they came out with how long it takes to make a taco by running uh, a running contest of who can make the fastest whatever. And they basically took the champion, which at the time was done to I believe 8 seconds, and turned around and made that the standard. It's like going like, wait, you got one person that can do the 8 seconds, making a full taco from grabbing the first thing and all, and putting all the ingredients, wrapping it up, and then putting it on the table in 8 seconds. And there's one person that can do that, and you want everybody in the company to do that. But then again, Taco Bell is not quite fast food. It's sort of not really fast, but sort of almost. I'm trying to think of the term. It's not slow food, because usually I think of slow food as something where you would sit down at a restaurant and order something, and it would take a bit to get there. Fast food is one of those things that it's like you can where you can go through a drive-through relatively fast. Taco Bell, even though it has a drive-through, isn't really fast food, because I honestly don't know. I wound up when I first started working there, I wound up twisting my ankle, so I couldn't move around that much. So they put me on the register, and they kept on. I got to a point where they kept on saying that, "Hey, slow down and stop taking orders so fast," because the orders would get real fast. So not sure why, but I don't know. So does anyone know who is on Sidetracks Sidetracks Sunday today? Because I know everything is a little discombobulated because of tax season, and John couldn't do the first one. Missy J. Okay. So tonight's Nissy J. So there's a good chance I'll see you over there then. I'm gonna call a little early tonight, so you got a little bit of extra time to turn around and do what you had to do before Nissy gets on. If I vaguely remember there was something that she's inviting somebody on to help her with something. So I believe, will have a guest. I don't know who that guest is at this point, but actually, it looks like Rail Artist is back. Hey, Rail Artist, what dessert did you make your wife? DV Tech? Okay. Gotcha. Of course, we don't know if Mike has wandered off. Or if he's like me, a very slow typist. I'm a very slow typist. I want to say I've gotten better since my current work job depends on me being on the keyboard and all that, so I am quicker. But Well, I'm going to call it 5 minutes early. So I think the world needs more love. So find your passion. I only type with your thumb. Well, if it's one of those things of everyone assumes everyone's a fast typist and all that, and that's not it. Some people do the hunt and peck method with the words and all that. Then you get some people that it's their typing sounds like sounds like a waterfall. All right. See you on next stream, Delight, and same thing with everybody else. So find your passion and add some silliness to it and spread it around. Thank you, Kyle.